Chapter 1. Monsters in the Dark. Ready? Let's look inside the stomach of a sperm whale. What you find there is genuinely alarming. An unbelievable amount of colossal squid remains. Just look at the size of this creature. It's unfathomable. Scientists estimate that something like 80% of a sperm whale's entire diet consists of these gigantic, almost mythical animals. And that means only one thing: there have to be thousands of them down there. Entire fleets of massive monsters roaming the deep. But if there are so many of them, why is it so incredibly hard to find just one live colossal squid in its natural habitat? Based on what we know about sperm whales, we figure these colossal squids primarily live down here, in the extreme depths of the ocean. To get there, we need a highly specialized submersible. We are descending to a place where sunlight can never reach. Look around. There is marine snow falling for kilometers in every direction. Just freezing emptiness. There's nothing else. We strain our eyes against the thick glass, searching and searching. Because the ocean is so much bigger than most people can even comprehend. An adult colossal squid can be over 9 meters long. You'd think a monster that size would be easy to spot, right? But down here in our tiny sub, it's like looking for a single housefly inside a massive pitch-black football stadium, using only the flashlight on your phone. Oh, and the weather is terrible. So yeah, our chances of success on this expedition are not looking great. But sometimes humanity gets incredibly lucky. In 2025, exactly 100 years after we first realized the colossal squid existed, researchers caught footage of a young one. It was an absolutely unbelievable find, captured entirely by accident. Just like this haunting footage of an oarfish, or this genuinely terrifying video of a bigfin squid, randomly filmed by oil rig operators. We have solid evidence that gigantic, monstrous, beautifully bizarre animals thrive in the freezing, crushing depths of our oceans. But up until now, almost all of our discoveries have just been a matter of luck, being in the right place at the right time. But what if I told you there is another way to discover the giant animals in our deep sea? And we don't need expensive submersibles. All we need is a single drop of water. Chapter 2. The Twilight Zone and the Great Shadow. If you dive into the ocean searching for life, you want to be prepared with the right tools. And that depends entirely on how deep you plan to go. For the first 30 meters or so, you can use standard scuba gear to dive and look around. There's plenty of light and explosion of colors, and we've spent decades studying these shallow reefs. But despite that easy access, we still keep finding new species all the time. Experienced divers using special gas mixtures can go way deeper, down to a few hundred meters, but they can't stay there long. So, sometimes they leave experiments like these artificial reefs to pick up later. When these specific reefs were recovered in 2025, they unveiled around 20 entirely new species we never knew existed. But the farther down we go, the harder it gets to explore. By the time you get a few hundred meters deep, the pressure makes it feel like your entire body is being squeezed in a giant vice. So, scientists use specialized underwater robots. Some work autonomously in the dark, storing data. Others are tethered to a ship, sending back high-definition video instantaneously. When you turn on the bright lights down here, the first thing you see is an endless blizzard of particles. Scales, feces, dust, and fragments of dead animals drifting down from the surface. Scientists poetically call this marine snow. It's a vital food source for the animals down here because the sun's energy struggles to reach this layer. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. The animals here look like they were designed by a mad scientist. Lots of them are completely transparent. Others glow in the dark, flashing bright bioluminescent lights. It's like a bizarre alien carnival happening right beneath us. But scientists discovered something much stranger happening in this part of the ocean. During World War II, military sailors noticed a mysterious shadow on their sonar screens. It looked like the solid seafloor was only a couple of hundred meters below their ships, even though maps showed a bottomless abyss. But what was truly alarming was that the shadow was moving. Every single night, this giant mass would rise several hundred meters, creeping closer to the surface. And every day it would drop away back into the darkness. We later learned this wasn't the seafloor. It wasn't a hidden fleet of enemy submarines. And it wasn't a giant monster. It was the largest migration on planet Earth. Billions of tons of animals leaving the dark zone to feed in the upper layers at night. Every single night, the biomass moving through the water completely dwarfs the great animal migrations in Africa. which means that hidden somewhere in this pitch-black emptiness is actually one of the most crowded places on Earth. Today, we know this giant shift happens all over the world. It's so massive it actually churns the ocean water, and it's critically important for the health of our planet. At the surface, microscopic phytoplankton pull carbon dioxide out of the air. Every night, billions of animals come up, eat that phytoplankton, and carry all that carbon waste deep into the sea, essentially saving us from a warming atmosphere. We still try to use sound waves to study this zone. But sound alone can't show us the faces of these animals. We have specialized nets, but they tear the animals' soft, jelly-like bodies apart, and many just avoid the nets entirely. We try to film them, but the bright lights and loud motors of our drones simply scare away creatures that have evolved for millions of years in dark, silent isolation. But one time we did find a giant monster down here, and it took a ridiculous amount of work. Chapter 3. Catching the Ghost. It was 2012. A group of scientists decided to change their strategy. They removed the loud motors. They turned off the blinding white lights and used only a red LED light, a spectrum invisible to most deep-sea animals. Then they attached a special lure that flashed blue, mimicking a bioluminescent jellyfish in distress. They dropped this trap 700 meters deep, and they waited. And then a giant squid appeared, filmed for the very first time in its natural habitat. Its tentacles writhed in the darkness, and an eye the size of a basketball stared right into the lens. But remember, a giant squid and a colossal squid are different animals. The colossal squid is even larger, heavier, and armed with terrifying rotating hooks. Getting that footage of just a regular giant squid took 20 years of studying whale hunting patterns, over 100 deep dives, and hundreds of hours of agonizing waiting for just a few minutes of blurry video. That is a huge amount of time, money, and resources for a fleeting glimpse. But human curiosity is relentless. We want to go deeper. Chapter 4. Into the abyss. We are falling into depths where absolute darkness rules. Any trace of light is quickly absorbed and destroyed. We are entering the largest single habitat on the planet, accounting for 70% of all seawater. We know that giant animals like the colossal squid haunt this place because we see the brutal scars they leave behind on the skin of whales. But what else is down here? A brand new, monstrous, beautiful species could be lurking just 3 feet outside our camera's field of view, and we would never know it. That is the major problem with deep-sea exploration so far. You just have to get incredibly lucky. Welcome to the abyss. It looks like a desolate alien desert here. Vast plains of mud and minerals, scattered with little metal spheres that mining companies are obsessed with. But there are also alarmingly gigantic animals creeping across the floor. Look at this 40-centimeter long isopod. It looks like an armored bug, and it's 16 times bigger than its terrestrial relatives. Or these amphipods that are over 10 times larger than their shallow water counterparts. Science still doesn't fully understand why these animals grow to such nightmarish sizes down here. Our best guess is that larger bodies can go longer without eating, thanks to a deeply slowed metabolism, which is a great survival trait in a food-scarce wasteland. One of these giant isopods actually went 5 whole years without eating a single meal in captivity. Another theory points to the freezing temperature. It's near 0 degrees Celsius down here. Colder water holds more oxygen, and freezing temperatures cause life to move in slow motion, allowing cells to grow to enormous sizes. We call this polar gigantism. We think this is exactly what led to the evolution of the colossal squid and these terrifyingly large sea spiders. God, the ocean is terrifying. But wait, look, the Dumbo octopus. He flaps his little ear-like fins and looks incredibly cute, until you remember he's surviving in an environment that would crush a nuclear submarine like a soda can. And we're still going even deeper into the Hadal zone. Trenches down here are deeper than Mount Everest is tall. The pressure feels like 100 elephants standing on your head. And yet, we are still uncovering life. But exploring these trenches with robots is expensive, time-consuming, and dangerous. We needed a new tool. A cheaper one. Something that could give us a broad view of all the life hiding in the dark, and help us finally find that fly in the arena. And now we have it. Chapter 5. The power of a single drop. The scientist is holding a regular syringe filled with water. This tiny sample holds the genetic traces of thousands of animals. All the way down through our oceans, life takes many different forms, but they all have something in common. They shed. Remember the marine snow? The feces, the mucus, the random scales, the dead skin cells. Every fish, crab, and whale leaves behind an invisible trail of its own biology. They essentially leave behind chemical signatures of exactly who they are. Biologists sometimes joke that they just study poop all day, but it's the truth. There's all kinds of genetic junk left behind, from bacteria to great white sharks. If we just dip into that water, pull it up, and filter it, we can use those microscopic pieces to extract DNA. Specifically, environmental DNA or eDNA. So, what can you do with just a little bit of water and some genetic code? You can do two unbelievable things. The first is you can hunt for a specific animal that you already know exists. Go find your fly in the stadium. Imagine the ocean is a giant bowl of alphabet soup. You dip your spoon in, but you are only looking for the letter A. Researchers use short, single-stranded DNA sequences as a sort of molecular magnet. These magnets ignore all the other billions of letters in the soup and latch onto only the specific genetic code they want. And we've already done this successfully. Take the angel shark. It's a critically endangered ambush predator that is incredibly good at hiding in the sand. For years, we thought they were completely extinct in certain areas. Divers couldn't find them anywhere. But then, researchers sampled the water, and their computers showed massive spikes in angel shark eDNA. They sent a dive team to those exact coordinates, and sure enough, the sharks were right there. This method is faster, cheaper, and way less invasive than anything we've done before. We are even using it to detect invasive species. If a dangerous foreign fish shows up in a local port, eDNA detects it long before a human ever sees it, allowing dive teams to remove the threat immediately. Chapter 6. Hunting the Ghost of the Deep. But what about searching the deep ocean for animals we know are there? Like the colossal squid? We are actually doing that right now. In the freezing waters of Antarctica, a group of scientists from New Zealand is taking deep water samples. Their goal is to identify all the cephalopods in the water column and finally track down the colossal squid without ever laying eyes on it. The beauty of eDNA is that it works like a time machine. We can look backward in time and say, well, the squid isn't here now, but it was here 2 days ago. With enough sampling, there's a near future where eDNA could tell us, hey, there's a massive concentration of colossal squid DNA right here all year round. This will let us create heat maps of the animal's exact range. It is not impossible to imagine a future where it doesn't take 20 years of studying whale stomachs to find a giant squid, or 100 years of waiting for a lucky break. We will just know where they sleep. That by itself is incredible. But here is what I find truly mind-blowing. What if we don't know who we're looking for? This is the second thing eDNA can do. You can hunt for the complete unknown. Chapter 7. The Dark Taxa. Do you remember that giant daily migration in the Twilight Zone? If we know something is moving down there, there's a good chance eDNA can tell us exactly who it is, and at what times. During the day, researchers go out and collect liters of water from the surface and the Twilight Zone. They do the exact same thing at night. And instead of searching the alphabet soup for one specific letter, they give the computer a broader command, find me all the vowels. This flags hundreds of different species at once, sorting them by their genetic differences. By comparing the daytime and nighttime water samples, suddenly, we have a crystal clear picture of exactly who is migrating and when. We are bringing this hunt for the unknown into the deepest parts of the sea as well. For biodiversity scientists, the deep ocean is the final, greatest frontier of exploration. And what they found using just drops of water was shocking. You are never going to look at the ocean the same way again. Because when the DNA results came back from the abyssal plains, 90% of it was completely unknown to science. 90%. They call it dark taxa. We believe there are over 2 million different marine species in our oceans, and current estimates say we have documented less than 10% of them. When we sample deep water and sequence the DNA, we have to compare it to global databases to find out what animal it belongs to. But since we don't have the genome for nearly 90% of life in our oceans, the computer simply returns an error, unknown. These might be species we know about but never genetically tested, or they could be something entirely new, bizarre, alien creatures hiding in the pitch-black trenches. To solve this, researchers are now using artificial intelligence and machine learning to fill in the gaps. The AI looks at this dark taxa and tries to group it. This unknown DNA looks a bit like a squid. Let's classify it as a potential new cephalopod. But to train that AI, you need an unfathomable amount of data. So right now, humanity is in a massive high-stakes race to sequence the genetics of our oceans. Chapter 8. New Ghosts in the Deep. The most exciting part is that we can freeze these eDNA samples. They are biological time capsules. 10 years from now, we can run that same water through new advanced technology and say, oh my God, so that's what was swimming down there. Unlike our submarine cameras, where we can only guess that a monster might be lurking just out of sight, eDNA tells us the absolute truth. Hey, something huge is right here. We just don't know what it looks like yet. That's not to say this is easy. It is incredibly difficult. DNA degrades very quickly in warm, shallow waters due to UV light. In the freezing deep, it lasts longer, but collecting it is an engineering nightmare. It's complicated. But the need to go deeper, to learn more, is more urgent today than ever before in human history. Our planet's biggest ecosystem is changing, heating up, and shifting faster than we can understand it. But fortunately, our technology is evolving too. eDNA doesn't just give us a glimpse at deep-sea monsters. It gives us a baseline medical test for the health of our oceans. It's a way to show the world that these dark, crushing depths aren't just empty wastelands. They are vibrant, alien habitats worth protecting. And what's really cool is that anyone can be involved. Scientists are asking for water samples from all over the world. As our technology gets better, as we pour more time and effort into this, our discoveries are going to explode. We haven't even scratched the surface of what we can do in the deep sea. But as we continue to push into the black water, we will find new tech, new life, and new ghosts in the deep, calling for us to finally go find them.